Hello everyone and welcome to AYC. This is a program put on by the Eagle Pass Border Coalition as a public service to bring information to the community. I am so honored and glad to be here at San Juan Plaza with the company. Of course, I'm Jesse Fuentes, and this right here is Commissioner Jerry Morales, Precinct Commissioner for 1, right?
Precinct 1, correct.
Precinct number 1. And what we're going to do today is we're going to do something called a walk and talk.
Great.
We're going to see if we can get some information update on behalf of Mr. Morales about the Commissioner's Code and some of the projects they're working on and where we're at as far as accounting. You ready for a walk?
Definitely.
All right, let's go for a walk. Okay. So, Commissioner, once again, thank you. Thank you for taking this time out of your busy schedule to be here with us and just try to bring some information, because nowadays there's just so much out there that we don't know who to trust. And that's why I wanted to visit with you directly to make sure that we're able to provide information to the community directly from a person that's right there in the court. So once again, thank you. I'd like to ask you, just to open this, how have you felt lately with your progress or lack of progress through the Commissioner's Court, and how do you feel things are going?
Well, what we've seen, this is we're actually about to start. We're on the 3rd year of a 4-year term under the new administration, which is under Judge Cantus.
Right.
And what we look at it is we go and look at administrations and how we work with each current administration and how we get our projects out. And one thing that I've seen different through this administration has been that one, and the most important, is the transparency.
Of course.
The transparency, I don't think it's there. I think our community should be very well informed, and I'm glad we're doing this walk and talk, because we can see that there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of misinformation, and I wish everybody would take the time and watch our meetings and see what's actually happening. I go out there every time I can and I do an interview, or I'll do a video, put it on my Facebook. And something that we've been really good to do in our office is always provide our cell phone. And always let the community know, you want to get more information about this? Call us. If you want to get the documents that I'm presenting right now, call me. All this information is always public, and every resident should have access to it. There's no reason we should be hiding any of this. Any project that goes on, we should be able to get that booklet of papers of project and say, hey, here it is. Look at yourself, how much got awarded, who got awarded the contract, what was the process, and that is the true transparency that has not happened for the past 3 years.
That's been, I guess, as a member of our organization, that's one of the difficulties that I see consistently.
Yes.
That it's hard to get solid information. Even after meeting with multiple commissioners, or even after meeting with a judge, there's just so much lack of transparency, and not just per se for one issue, but a lot of issues.
Yeah.
It's been like a show where you don't know what's going on, what's hidden behind this door or that door, or particularly this contract or that contract, or this decision or that decision. How did you get to this? I mean, who proposed that? I mean, why is this being done, or why isn't this being taken care of? And I know that the community right now is a little, maybe concerned about the lack of conformity or the lack of unity, right? I know that you kind of for the last 2 years, you've been fighting an incredible battle, because I feel that the odds are against you.
Correct.
And I feel that sometimes you express some very valiant and current points that should be addressed, but somehow or another you're overruled. And that's the tough part. My concern through our organization is trying to deliver information to the community. And I know there's a couple of questions that I'd like to ask you, and I'd like to work with you in this process where we're doing a cool little walk in beautiful San Juan Plaza. It's one of the most beautiful historic parks in our community, and I'm glad that you're here. And one of the things that I want to ask you about, I know, we're coming up on the March primaries, and Judge Cantu has announced that he is running for re-election. And what I'm thinking is, is it going to be more of the same, or what should the community look forward to, if you don't mind?
I think what's happening, what's going on right now, he's already registered for his re-election. I think it surprised the community that he actually went through and registered for a re-election by just historically what's happened this last 3 years.
Right.
And I think if he's successful in garnering another election, then I think it's going to be a little bit of the same of what's happening right now, but at a much higher effect in the community.
Of course.
Because the projects that are coming to Maverick County are big projects.
Yes.
They're big projects that are going to impact the whole community itself. And when you see the pattern that has been going in awarding contract to private investors,
Right.
and private companies, and taking away those from our county employees and giving it to a private company, you see the direction that this administration is going. And the numbers don't lie. Our budgets are in our county website. You can go look at them. You can go study them. You can feel free to call me and explain. You can visit our auditor. Use all the resources that we have here in Maverick County so that you make your own assumption, saying, you know what, we're not headed in the right direction.
And see, that's
something's going on.
that's what concerns me, because there's been so many incidents that as an organization people have come to us. Like, I believe there was some problems with county employees being able to pay their insurance, or the insurance coverage, or the situation with the city about the coverage for emergency care and fire response, and of course the big one, the big elephant in the room, the Puerto Verde situation. There's an entire community in Seco Mines that are scared.
when you look at all the issues and the way that I see this, when we looked at the issues that we're currently seeing, the issues that and the common factor among all this is, we looked at the EMS services, how we don't have the money to pay for the EMS services. We look at the issues of providing water to our Quemado residents.
Right.
We look at the issues of providing sewer to areas in Chula Vista. We look at issues where our county employees were left without insurance because of non-payment.
Wow.
And we look at issues where projects are not getting completed, where paving projects are not getting completed, infrastructure projects. And when you look at everything, you say, well, what's the common factor of this?
Yeah.
Common factor of this is that there's no money. There's no revenue.
Of course.
Then you have the private investor that comes in and says, I'm going to build a bridge. It's a great revenue source for Maverick County. We know what the bridges have done for the city. But when you look, a private investor come in, and we said, okay, Maverick County's name is on the application. What is Maverick County getting out of this?
Absolutely.
How are we going to be able to provide this revenue source and give some relief to our county taxpayers, because we're going to generate revenue through another source? Well, we're working on our contract. Well, they've been working on this contract for 3 years, and nobody has seen this contract. And not a single member from Commissioner's Court, with the exception of Judge Cantu, which she says, I'm working on it. But the community hasn't seen it.
And that's, I think, the big takeaway, like you mentioned at the very beginning, the lack of transparency, the lack of, what's in the future, what's waiting for us. And it's so uncertain. Yeah. It's so uncertain because we've also gotten sued by different areas for, we were doing something with houses or apartments or leasing or something.
We did. I'm familiar with that. When I found out, the sitting members of Commissioner's Court actually are the owners, are the sitting members of the corporation, which is the Maverick County Finance Corporation. When I saw and when I found out what was really happening there, when I was able to learn by scratching here, scratching there, and trying to get all this information, because all this information is hidden from me. You know, when I'm the one asking questions and voting, they find a way to hide all this information from me. I went and resigned to this board, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to be a part of this.
Wow.
I'm not going to be a part of this because I can see how this corporation in Maverick County is hurting other communities. We went to communities in Houston and Dallas and San Antonio and Pecos, and we went and made those community, and if they were collecting $80,000 in taxes on a development, they went to $0. Now they're not connecting that because there was an agreement made with someone in Maverick County, has nothing to do in Pecos, has nothing to do in Houston, but yet there's a mechanism that law allowed it. It doesn't allow it anymore because the legislators passed some law. We did visit with our state rep and say, hey, this is what's going on. It's not right. It's not correct.
Wow.
And they changed it. But in the meantime, we got sued. We got sued 3 times. And I think at the end of the day, we're going to end up with that legal bill. After all the dust settles, we're going to end up. But you're not going to hear a single member of commissioners' courts, with the exception of yours truly, talk about those lawsuits. You're not going to see them bring into commissioners' court and say, hey, we got sued. Let's let the community know that we might end up paying hundreds of thousands of dollars on this lawsuit. But they're not going to talk about it.
No.
Because it doesn't make us look good. We're there not to look good. we sometimes look good doing a project, but if we're going to look bad, we need to let the community know, ¿sabes qué? Como dicen en español, la regamos. La regamos.
Buenas y malas.
Buenas y malas. We got to own that. We got to find a way to fix it. But we have to let the community know this is what's going on.
Wow.
This is in the situation we find ourselves in. And I think you try to cover that, and it becomes a snowball effect. It starts getting bigger, and bigger.
And you're absolutely right. There's just been such a huge accumulation of issues. You know, instead of stability and cooperation, it's confrontation and tribulation where I'm not going to show you this, and I go, I mean, but it's a public entity. I mean, you shouldn't be keeping stuff away from the constituents, the residents. Especially, I think one of the biggest ones, which everybody was surprised, was, like I said, Puerto Verde, because, God, there was so much there. And how did it move so fast? And how did the county, you know, maybe kind of like bypass the bidding process? Or how did this corporation all of a sudden land this? You know, how was it presented? How did the commissioner's court?
It was presented as a joint venture with Maverick County. And my position has always been the same. We do need a third bridge.
Of course.
We do need a revenue source, but I don't care how much money we're going to make. You cannot put that amount of money over our community. You cannot do that. I don't care if it's going to take us. We cannot do that. The county took an initiative in 2018 to go and get a study for a third international bridge, and we did that. And it ended up putting this study, and it ended up putting this bridge in the outskirts of town, not right through the middle of a community. And they completely ignored it. They completely ignored the study and said, no, I don't want to build it over there because it's not cost effective for me. I'll build it right through the middle of the community, right through the middle of Seco Mines.
And that's the hard part, because, you know, they went ahead and invested close to $200,000 for that feasibility study, and it was an appropriate location where was it 277 North and 480 are supposed to connect. It's out there where maybe at the most 10 people live. We're gonna head out this way so we can get on because we got some rain coming in. But I'm just saying, why did they bring it into a residential area? And
it is just very cost effective. When you go and look at the outskirts of town, you're gonna have to build about 2 miles or 2.5 miles of infrastructure. But when you look at
we're gonna go up here.
When you look at the location that they selected, which is around Seco Mine, Seco Creek, was that 2.5 miles or 2 miles goes down to about 1 mile, 1.3 miles.
Right.
So it's very cost effective for the investor to go and say, hey, you know what? This is where I want to do it. This is where I want to build it. And I think that when you go and do that and don't even take into account the neighborhoods and who's there, and then when the neighborhood comes up, has an army and says, you know what, we don't want it here, and then you try to cover it and say, okay, let me now inform them. Okay, I think if we would have done this since the beginning, being transparent about it, this is what we're going to do, it would have been a whole different turnout, a whole different outcome. And Loop 480 is going to end.
Right.
The funding is already there, and that's where the selection had been made back in 2018 by an engineering firm. The county paid for the study.
Wow.
And it just makes common sense. If you're bringing this tractor trailers across into the U.S., put them on the outer loop and get them out of town.
It's the ideal location.
It's the ideal location. And I looked at the mess that we're in with this and saying, man, we do need the bridge. We don't want it here in this neighborhood. They're completely not listening to us. And then I look at Valverde. I go to Del Rio. Del Rio's going to get another bridge.
Yeah.
And what are they doing? They're being very transparent. They're putting it out there to the voters. The voters are going to decide if they want it or not. But since the beginning, they're transparent. They're letting the community know, you want it
I've kept up
or not.
with that. Yeah.
So, totally different than Maverick County.
I think Del Rio saw what was happening over here, and because what's happened in Eagle Pass, and I've noticed, I don't know if you have, there's been a lot of nonprofit organizations that have popped up with concerns that are not being addressed, because we see as organizations or people see that their word, their vote, their input is not valued. And that's the tough part, that, I have a lot of respect for anyone that serves in the public as a representative through the county or the city, but sometimes you just gotta listen to the people.
You have to listen to the people.
Yeah.
We get elected by the masses. When we ended up in federal court on a separate issue, a federal judge made it very clear. You have to side with the masses. If you were going to provide services to 1% and make the other 99% paid for that service, you're completely wrong.
Absolutely.
You have to be looking out for the 99%.
Absolutely.
And that's what's not happening right now.
Yeah.
I visited with residents and I said, well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the bridge should go through here. Let me go knock on some doors. So we head out there behind Banco Las Minitas and I go and knock on some doors. And I show them a picture. I go, are you aware that this wall is going to go right through here? And say, what is that? I go, this is actually where they're going to put that railway.
Wow.
And they're like, when is this happening? I go, they're not aware. Yeah. We knocked on 3 houses, and those 3 residents are not aware.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, we put it out there, we put it out there, we put it out there. You haven't. You haven't, because you want to keep the community. You don't want them to find out. And eventually, Commissioner's Court right now, they have the votes. It's been a 4-1 vote.
Yeah.
And they see what's going on. I think the community sees what's going on. And hopefully, during the March primaries, this changes.
Yeah.
And I think the community is ready for that. I think the community is ready to see, okay, what's happening right now, the people that are sitting there needs to change. And it needs to change because they're not looking out for the community.
And that's what I feel is coming, because it shouldn't have to be that difficult to try to get your elected officials to listen. And it's been very difficult. And even when they do listen, they don't really listen.
It just when I have an interview, when you ask me, can you visit with me? Definitely. Mm-hmm. What you're going to get from an elected official, and I try to be as transparent as I can be. I try when I go meet, and we're going to interview. Do you want to know the question? No, I don't want to know the question. I want you to let me know. Beautiful. I'm going to answer it. And if I don't know the answer, I'm going to say I don't know the answer. I'll find it for you. But just let me know what you want, what's in your mind. And when we have organizations visit each one of our commissioners, and you have sitting commissioners that tell you, we'll talk about anything, but we will not talk about Puerto Verde. That's a huge flag.
I know.
And you're, okay, then I don't got no questions for you. I'll see you later.
I mean, there's so many people that will be affected by this Puerto Verde project. The environmental impact statement identifies a lot of concerns. Personally, as a person that knows the river and the flow, I'm worried. There's individuals within our group that have had floods in their house, up to 5 feet of water, and they want to build these. Just the statistics, the engineering, these earthen mounds that are 30 feet tall and 150 feet wide along the parallel with the Seco and the Elm. I'm going, wow, you're creating like a bowl effect where the backwash is going to come in and it's going to be ugly. And I'm just saying, you know, I'm wondering what it would take for the current. I don't know if the current administration. I know you're outgunned there 4-1, but I don't know what it would take for them to listen. I don't know if they're complicit in one way or another, or you know, it's just been. Something that I know as an organization that our community needs to grow, but it needs to be strategic. It needs to be planned. You need to solicit input from the community. You shouldn't do it behind their back, right?
Yeah,
I mean, and that's what you've been saying all along. So I want to take this opportunity to say thank you. Thank you for being an outspoken person that defends the community, you know?
We will always do that, and every time we'll seek re-election, we will put the community first. And the day that the community says, you know what, I'm tired of Morales, then we'll go home and, you know, we'll live peacefully. But in the meantime, the community keeps electing me and putting that. I'll be your voice. I'll be your voice out there. I will fight for what I think is right, but most importantly, I listen to my constituents. I listen a lot to them, and I tell them, and you know, sometimes I don't agree. Sometimes I don't agree with what's happening, with what they're requesting, and we still manage to sit down and say, okay, this is where we're going to go. This is how we're going to handle this. But just because I don't agree with them, it doesn't mean it's right. Sometimes they're right, and I got to come and say, you guys want me to do this? I'll do this. You guys want me to sponsor an item and fight for you guys? That's what I'm elected to do. I'm here.
You describe the responsibility of an elected official so appropriately. You know, you're there to represent
them,
the people, and I thank you for that. A few other questions, and then we'll end up wrapping this cool walk and under
the beautiful PS kiosk.
But. People have asked me if it's a way of trying to avoid the people, all these special meetings that happen like during the day. Is that normal, or is that part of the routine? Or I feel honestly that it's a way to get stuff on the record, but not have any opposition against it. You know what I'm saying?
And it's, you know, by law we have to approve a calendar of meetings. Right. In state regular meetings or special meetings, we have to approve that, and we do that. But then nothing stops the county judge from calling a meeting whenever he wants. Wow. And he gets away with it. He gets away with it. I'm going to call a meeting today at 10 a.m. I'm going to call a meeting today at 3, and I'm going to call a meeting at 4. And so you see this going on. Wow. So what happens if you call a meeting at 10, well, people can't show up. They're at work. Call a meeting at 3, at 4. Call it at 4, people get there late, they're not allowed to speak anymore because the meeting already started.
Right.
So it is allowed. He has that right, that power to do that. Should it be done that way? I don't think so.
No.
I think that the more you get the community involved and the more you allow them to come and speak their mind and their voice, you know what, this is what's going on. We run a more transparent government. And that's why at the onset of this conversation, I said, the one thing that I see the most is the lack of transparency through our constituents, not letting them know what's happening with their taxpayers' dollars.
And that's key, and I'm glad that you say that, because I appreciate, and a lot of people appreciate, the person that you are. And this is a question that I'll try to close with. What's in the future for you, Commissioner? Where do you see yourself in public service? What do you think? You're going to be in it for the long run? You want to go from county to state? I mean, tell if you don't mind, tell the people. I
want to be in it for the long run, as long as I continue doing what's best for my community. I think we've done an excellent job in Precinct 1. I think The community spoke very loud and clear on this last election by
Absolutely.
giving me that re-election, and I'm going to be there for the long run. I've been getting approached a lot for what's going to be my next step.
Right.
And the March primaries are coming up. Judge Cantu registers. And I know how it works. You know, they'll send me the media and ask me, you're running for judge. And well, guess what? If I publicly announce, they'll remove me from office because you can't do that.
Yeah.
But are we
No.
thinking about it? Of course we're thinking about it.
Awesome.
We have to think about it. Most importantly, I sit down with my family every single day. My lovely wife, my 2 children, my son and my daughter. And I let them know this is what's going on. I keep them involved. This is what I'm doing for the community. This is. So do we get that question a lot? We do get it a lot.
That's good.
Have we made a decision? Not yet. But if you ask me if I'm here for the long run, I want to be here for the long run.
I appreciate that
I think
answer.
that Maverick County does not have a money issue. They say, oh, Maverick County has a... No. Currently, Maverick County has an administration issue.
I like that.
And that's what's happening, but this is where we're at. I hope I could give you more information, but I can't.
No. And I understand and I respect that. Once again, I appreciate your sincerity. I appreciate you being the outspoken one and understanding that that residents have a right or a say, you know, in what is being planned within the community. And I love the way you respect that, and I love the way you articulate that, and the way you stand up for people's rights as residents, as community members. And I hope that you continue to thrive on that, and that you, whatever opportunity is offered before you, that you grow and that you advance, and that because people see it in you. And I'm sorry that you're in the situation that you are. I'm sorry that our other commissioners and the judge is not that transparent, because the people deserve to know what does the county stand to gain. I know the county needs a revenue source, but at what cost?
At what cost?
At what
Exactly.
cost? And what they want to do in that particular area between the Seco and the Elm is it could be a life-threatening situation in the future. But we're hoping that if it does go through, that they consider relocation, and hopefully you can let them know about that. Commissioner, is there anything else that you would like to say?
I really thank you for giving me the opportunity and calling me. And as always, my phone number is public, 830-513-9515.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Give me a call, any single question. Give me a call, anything you want to know. You want documents? I'll give you documents. Every taxpayer should have every single document we approved.
I approve that. I mean, that is beautiful. That is. I just want to say thank you. And
you so
listen,
much.
everybody, if you ever get a chance to take the walk, go for a walk and talk with us. Don't hesitate. This has been AYC addressing your concerns, put together by the Eagle Pass Border Coalition in conjunction with the Eagle Pass Digital Arts Society. Thank you, and have a pleasant evening. Bye bye.